Welcome to Adobe Illustrator CC 2021 Classroom Book, Chapter number 9. This is all about adding type to a project. In this one, we're going to go ahead and learn how to import text, work with glyphs, how to create columns of text, how to wrap text. I really create some really nice looking recipe cards here. So let's go ahead and jump into Illustrator. And let's do a file open and go grab that lesson file. I'm going to grab that L9 start and say open. And we're going to do a file save as. Make sure I'm in my lesson 9 folder. I'm going to do a first initial last name, underscore, Adobe Illustrator, Classroom and Book, chapter number 9, and save. And OK. Next thing we want to do is make sure we're in the same workspace. So let's go to Window, Workspace, and let's go ahead and reset our essentials. So we're working from the same place. So the first thing we're going to do is start adding some type to this card. So let's go ahead and make sure that we are in our artboard number 1. And let's do a View, Fit Artboard and Window. And we're going to go ahead and add some text as point text, which means point type is a horizontal or vertical line of text that begins where you click and expands but does not necessarily wrap. So let's go ahead and with our type tool, we're going to go ahead and click, don't drag, between the dashed lines right here. And the first thing we're going to do is type serves 6 to 8, and I'm going to do it in all caps. 6 to 8. And I'm going to grab my selection tool and I'm going to drag it. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to drag the lower right bounding box. And you can see how you can change the size of the text, but it doesn't necessarily start wrapping because that's because it is that point text. Now, when you scale that way, you're going to notice that you have your text over here is going to start doing some weird things. It's going to be point something, which we don't always want. So let's go ahead and undo our scale, Control Z and undo. And let's go ahead and drag it over to the middle. So you've got those little cues here. Let's go ahead and drag it here to the middle. And let's go ahead and make one more little bit of text. Let's grab our type tool. We're going to put another one here. We're going to call time 15 minutes. Let's do it all caps. 15 will do the minutes in small. All right. So now we've got our elements here. We're going to go ahead and play with more of those later. So next thing we're going to do is add area type. Area type uses the boundaries of an object like a rectangle to control the flow. So it will wrap the text. So let's go ahead and create a type area. Let's grab our text tool. And we're actually going to drag a text area. So let's go ahead and add one right above this serves 6 to 8. And while we're in there, let's go ahead and make it say strawberry lemonade in all caps. All right, and now with our selection tool, you can see that we can change the way that that information is in that box because it is area type instead of point type. So let's go ahead now and make it so we have strawberry and lemonade on their own lines. And we're not going to play with it too much just yet. So you're thinking, okay, so what do I do? What if I've got point type and I want area type or vice versa? You can go ahead and change those. So let's go ahead and do add a little bit of something up here. Let's go to our type tool. And let's go ahead and drag to create another type area right here next to my ribbon. And in that type area, we're going to type the word fresh. And let's zoom in a little bit, Control plus, and zoom in a little bit so we can see what we're doing. Now, if we, with our selection tool, you see you've got this pointer right here, this little indicator. So this annotator will tell you whether or not we've got point text or if we have area text. So if it has the, let's see, If we double click it, we will get different types of types. So now you'll see we've got is now changed to that point instead of area, which don't necessarily want. So I'm going to go ahead and double click it to convert it back to area. So it's very easy to use that element. The area text has the hollow, and point is got the circle or the solid circle. So let's go ahead and make sure we are in our, okay, so let's go to type. Let's come down here to convert to point type. Oh, we already did. All right, so convert to area type. All right, so now when we go ahead and hit shift, we can drag it, and you're going to see that we've got a few different options when we change. So right now it didn't change the size because it is the area instead of point. We want to go ahead and make it point, so let's go ahead and go up to our type, convert to point type, and now when we hit shift, it will go ahead and stretch the size of that point size as well. So just kind of knowing that there's different ways to work with those elements. All right, let's go ahead and do a Control S and save. And now let's import some plain text. So let's go to our artboard number 2, go down to the bottom, switch to our artboard number 2, and let's make sure we have nothing selected. So select and deselect just to make sure. And let's do a file and place. And we're going to go ahead and grab the L9 text file, so l9text.txt, and say place. Let's see, we want to make sure the show import options is checked. And let's hit place. We're going to get a pop-up, and it's going to tell you a few things about the type of text we've got here. We're not really going to mess with it. We just want you to see what's there. So let's go ahead and click OK. Leave all those default settings. And we're going to go ahead and now we get that loaded cursor. So let's go ahead and draw a box for that to go in, a frame. So I'm going to draw a frame right here on the left-hand side. And you'll see that I've got a little bit of an error here. I've got some overset text. We're going to fix that here in a minute. Let's do a Control S and save. So now we want to go ahead and thread that text. So I'm going to do a Control plus so you can kind of see what I'm doing a little bit more. Oh, can't do the space bar when you're, all right, so get rid of that guy. All right, so I'm going to have my selection tool. I'm going to go ahead and fix that element. So with our selection tool, we want to hit that little out port with the plus sign. It's showing you you've got overflow text. And that's going to go ahead and let us, should let us, there we go. Now I've got the loaded cursor. Do a Control minus. And it's going to go ahead and let us drag out another box over here to scroll that and put that extra information into it. So that's exactly what we want. So you see the great part about threading text boxes is depending on how you change them, the text will flow from one into another. So that's why you always want to use your threaded text boxes. You don't necessarily want to create more boxes. All right, so we've got that one. And we can see that they're threaded because we've got our text threads turned on. If you're not seeing that blue line, go to View and go ahead and tell it to show text threads. Mine's already on, so I just have to figure out where it's at. Oh, here we go. Mine would say hide text threads, so that would make it go away. So it's down here toward the bottom. All right, so I've got that exactly where I want it. Perfect, awesome, ready to go. Let's do Control S and save. And so with that second type object still selected, so let's go ahead, grab that second type object, and you can see that we can change the size of the box. That's going to change the way it flows. So let's go ahead and make it about as wide as the dotted line at the top, and we're good there. So let's do a Control S and save. And let's go ahead and pick up with formatting type in the next section. See you there.